Hello and welcome to a new episode of Geek Lunch Meat. I'm your host Chris, as usual, and this is a Geek Lunch Meat Light Bite, one of the short videos in the series where I just look at various items in my collection of stuff. Don't forget, if you like what you see, give the video a thumbs up, helps the channel out a great deal, and why not hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We'd be absolutely delighted to have you. Now in this video we have a brand new item, the just published Godzilla, the official guide to the King of the Monsters. As I say, this is brand new out, just published, so let's dive in to 256 pages altogether of giant monster mayhem. Now it's a beautiful hardcover book, as I said, 256 pages. We've got an image of Shin Godzilla on the front here from the latest Japanese movie, and his skin is actually textured, presumably to feel, like reptilian skin, which is a nice touch. Now the book is more a sort of a pictorial history of Godzilla movies. There is text in there, and it is in English, but as you can see, there's some absolutely gorgeous black and white and full colour photographs included. You can see it from the contents. It covers all the different eras of the Godzilla movies. The original Showa era, the Heisei era, the Millennium movies, the Reiwa era, going into the American era. And at the end, there's just a small part looking at Godzilla in other media other than the movies. So as I say, it goes through all the movies chronologically, and we get a full color image of the original theatrical release poster, and we get some text, very informative, tells you about the history, critical and commercial success or lack thereof of the movie. It's not massively in depth, but it does tell you all you need to know. For example, with this on the original Godzilla release, there's a bit here about how it was recut and Raymond Burr added in for the American release. And all of the earlier Japanese Godzilla movies get about 5 or 6 pages of photographs. So we go through all the various different films through the 60s, into the 70s and the 80s. These are my favourite shots in the book. I'm a big fan of Godzilla vs. Megalon, featuring Jet Jaguar, who was designed. It was a competition for school kids to send in designs. Jet Jaguar was the winning design. These were the movies of the 70s. They'd sort of lost the horror aspect and had become much more kid-friendly by that point. We get to the more modern films, Godzilla vs. Biollante, with its themes of genetic research and sort of environmentalism coming in as well. We've got Godzilla vs. Destroyer, a 40th anniversary movie, which was touted as being the death of Godzilla. Obviously, you can't keep a good monster down, so Godzilla was back in Godzilla Millennium. And finally, we're all the way up to Shin Godzilla, or Godzilla Resurgence, as it's known in the West, which is the latest of the live-action Japanese movies. It does cover the trilogy of animated movies that were made for Netflix as well. I wasn't massively impressed with those. I thought the idea sounded great. Earth in the future, when all of humanity is left to the stars, and Godzilla's become this huge force of nature on the planet. But then, unfortunately, it doesn't seem to do very much at all. And then in the sequel, City on the Edge of Battle, which was meant to be sort of Mecha Godzilla, he was obviously reconceptualized as just being a sort of sentient city. So you didn't get the Godzilla versus giant robot that we all wanted. And then in the third movie, the Planet Eater, King Ghidorah was sort of promised, and what we got was a sort of energy creature that resembled him slightly. So yeah, I was quite disappointed in that trilogy. The American films do get quite short shrift in this book. You literally just get a page of text and the poster. The same for the Gareth Edwards movie, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and Godzilla vs. Kong. Obviously, they don't touch on Kong Skull Island. Unfortunately, obviously, Godzilla doesn't turn up in that, which is a shame, because for me, it's the best of the MonsterVerse movies that they've made so far. The Godzilla and Other Media section, we get the cartoons, including the Hanna-Barbera Godzilla and Godzuki series, which I absolutely adored as a kid. And it does go up to Godzilla Singular Point, the animated series that we got on Netflix last year. Unfortunately, they don't include any stills or anything from that. That was a very different reinterpretation of Godzilla, but absolutely really enjoyable, I thought. There's a bit about Godzilla in comic books. We get some beautiful Bob Eggleton art, and there's images from Matt Frank, Arthur Adams, to name but a couple, some really beautiful artwork. And finally, there's just a few shots right at the end from some of the Godzilla video games that have been made over the years. Godzilla Destroy All Monster Melee was one of my favourite games on the GameCube back in the day. Stomping around, knocking down buildings, taking on the classic monsters. Absolutely brilliant. Obviously, there's a lot of books that come out in Japan about Godzilla that don't get translated into English, and they cost quite a lot of money to import into this country. So it's really nice to have an English language book. I say for £22 this cost me on Amazon. It's an absolute bargain. So yeah, the only real negative is that it doesn't go into the American films much at all. It's obviously a choice the author made to focus mainly on the Japanese movies, and that's fair enough. And at the end of the day, there are a lot of books, you know, like Godzilla, The Art of Destruction, readily available in English. All of the making of books for the later Godzilla movies anyway. So there you go. If you're a fan of Godzilla, this book is an absolute no-brainer. And even if you just have a passing interest in monster movies in general, for £22 you can't go wrong. Godzilla, the official guide to the King of the Monsters, gets a big thumbs up from us here at Geek Lunch Meat. Hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, take care, eat geek, and be merry.